Hey there, today I want to talk about the other side of sales. It's not necessarily the tactics and the strategies and all of the things, your objection handling, the typical things that you think of when you think of sales skills, right? The other side includes habits and activities outside of what you do to be successful at sales. So let's go ahead and jump into how you can be more successful in your sales role as an entrepreneur or working for another company by implementing a few of these hacks into your everyday life. Hey there, I'm Michelle Terpstra, Chief Revenue Officer, and this is another episode of Ask a CRO. So this is a new thing that I implemented with my team over the last couple of weeks when I noticed something was really happening with the team. So we have these start of days every single day, start a day for your sales team. We show up, we get excited, we're ready to rock and roll. And we all sit there at our desks with our cameras on and we talk about what the intentions of the day are, who we're going to close, who we're going to set, some wins from the previous day, what's working, what's not, like your typical stuff that you would talk about on the start of day, right? But what I noticed is that the energy level wasn't as high as I would like it. And anyone who's been in sales and you're listening, so you are, that your energy really matters because it's a transfer of energy in every single sales conversation you have. That means it could happen in an email, a text message, a social media post, a DM. I hate to tell you, but it matters on all of those interactions, not just the ones where you're on Zoom or you're talking to them. There is an energy transfer. So if your energy isn't high vibe, it highly impacts your ability to make sales, get people to respond to you, and all of the other things that are important so that you're successful every single day. Another thing is before I was a chief revenue officer, I was in sales. I was responsible for the actual closing. So I've been there. So I've led the teams and I've been the individual contributor. And it's a lot. It is a lot to be responsible for closing all the deals, right? And it takes a lot of energy that most people aren't willing to do in their job, which is why sales is so highly compensated. Plus, there's certain personality types that's easier for and others that are not, right? And a lot of people say, Michelle, you're so super extroverted. That's super easy for you. And I was like, yeah, I am really extroverted, but I have to have pockets of my day and my week where it's silent and alone and solo so that I can regenerate. So what I noticed on these calls is the energy was low and they're doing their best to show up. They're doing exactly what we were asking them to do. And I just thought to myself, you know what I've been craving is a lot more movement. Why do we have to have our cameras on, talking to each other face to face? There's really no reason for that in a start of day. So what we started to implement was walking start of days. And the reason why this matters is you can be camera or off camera, it was about a 50-50 split, and we're walking and we're moving in the morning. So what does this do for you? Anybody who walks knows that it gives you energy, right? It gives you energy and intention and it excites you for your day. And how's that going to be received when you call someone or you're on Zoom or video conferencing, remote selling? That makes a really big difference on how you show up. So moving forward, not only with my sales team, but everybody else that reports up to me and that I manage and that I support, we're going to start to integrate some walking meetings to get our bodies moving, our brains moving. Actually, if you think about it, a desk could potentially be the least productive and creative space in the entire world. So why do we sit there and depend on that for all of our meetings? And I was getting really passionate about this because prior to me owning my own sales training company, prior to me being a chief revenue officer, managing remote teams, prior to that, when I was in sales, I was in territory. So what did that mean? It meant every single morning I woke up, I got dressed, I moved my body. I probably got 10, 15, 20,000 steps a day going up staircases, walking to offices, meeting for lunch, all of the different things. And I realized, wow, that made me really energetic, super happy. Plus, I just felt better, right? You're going to feel better the more that you walk, the more that you move. So you don't have to be that intense person that goes to Orange Theory every single morning or power yoga, although I'm guilty of both, right? But you don't have to do those things if you just move and walk your body. So if you are a leader right now listening to me and you manage a team, I double dog dare you to try it this week and maybe for a couple of weeks to allow people not to sit at their desks for your meetings, but to walk and to move. I have my Apple Watch and I like to see how many steps I can get per meeting, and it totally changes the game. Now, clearly, if the meeting requires requires a presentation, or you have to be at your desk. There's certain circumstances this isn't going to work for. But even if you could cut 30% of your meetings into this, think about how that would transform everyone. Everyone would be healthier, more inspired, more creative, more productive, right? And if you're wondering how you can be a little bit tighter on your daily habits, don't forget that on Amazon, you can go scoop up my High Performance Sales Habits workbook, and that'll help you implement a lot of these things. And that can be your guide and your helper through the process. But regardless, like, how can you move during your meetings? So if you are an individual contributor and you're not the leader making all the decisions on these calls, I would suggest on your next one-to-one, you bring it up. And you can even point them back to this video and say, hey, Michelle Terpstra, she's a chief revenue officer and she switched over to this and look what started happening. And direct results from it. I noticed that ever since we shifted it, we get more sets immediately after that call closes. It's like people are energized, they're dialing, they're in Facebook setting sales appointments. So I see that right away. I also noticed that from my closing side, I get messages right after those meetings with all these great ideas, things they're going to do, creative juices are flowing, and that wasn't happening before. So there are really great reasons to do this, and I encourage you to take the leap and to try it. What do you have to lose over it? So instead of focusing on objection handling and follow-up and tactics and all of these things, like, take a little bit of a breather from that and think about how you can create a team that is more energized and they can already use the skills that they have. So we always want to be learning, overcoming objections, follow-up, tactics, all of those things. So I'm not saying push them all to the side forever, but I'm challenging you to think about the other side of sales. And to be successful at sales, you need energy, confidence, you need physical strength, honestly. It helps you do better in the job. So how can you help your team do that without them having to leave the office, stop working, extra time off, all of these things? This is something really simple. And if everyone has Apple Watches, or maybe you will give these as gifts, right? Now that we're thinking about it, you could have a little competition and gamify it. Because what? Salespeople love competition and they love gamifying. So I hope that you enjoyed this today. Let me know by subscribing, dropping a comment below. Let me know if you're going to try this. I would really love to hear the feedback. You also can just hit reply if you are watching this out of Sunday Sales Delight, my weekly newsletter. And if you're not a subscriber, please make sure you do so. We would love to see you inside our newsletter, where I share quick and fast and helpful advice every single week in 10 minutes or less. See you next time.